Probably one of my most recent memories is last year in September, I moved to Antigua for 4 months. The first time I was moving out of my parents' house and living basically on my own in a place other than my hometown, where I was born and raised, essentially. How that all happened, my partner is Antiguan and really wanted to start up like this altruistic foundation. And because the nature of my work was very digital, very online, I just kind of said okay to this opportunity of going to Antigua. And because I could do my work remotely, it was possible. So we moved there in September. And I guess I would say when I went there, I experienced a sort of culture shock. Part of this was just kind of the fact that I was in a new environment other than the one that I was used to, living on my own. There was just so many different things about life there, the climate, the culture, the people, and the way of life. So while I was there, I think one of the things that just stuck out the most to me was just everything about the experience sort of reaffirmed the practice of being grateful for basic things in my life. So I really learned not to take things for granted. Living in Canada, I'm one of the fortunate people to have a roof over my head, food to eat every night. I don't have to think about what's going to be on the table. I don't necessarily have to worry too much about paying my bills. I've always had that privilege of just being set and being okay. And when I was in Antigua, really living on your own in a foreign environment, you had to be super independent. The resources that we have here aren't the same as what we have there. Not to say that they don't have resources, it's a bit harder to find, I think. Yeah. The fact that in Canada we can just drink out of the tap and we know that it's fairly safe to drink. We don't really have to question that. But in Antigua, you always have to think twice about what water you're drinking. So just basic things like that. Again, it just really reaffirmed to be grateful and not take things for granted.
How did your day-to-day change? And did it change for the better?
Yeah, so my earlier point about the culture shock, part of that was, I guess in North American culture especially, we're very rushed, we're very go, 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 results driven, and we're always stressed. And then when you move to a Caribbean island, you kind of experience a slower pace of life. And so going from this intense, stressful culture to there and then living just a slower pace of life for 4 months, and then coming back, it was kind of I had to just sort of remind myself that I can still be productive without forcing myself to go overboard and overpromise and overdeliver. If that makes sense. And then, another thing, being in the sunshine was really wonderful. The sun just does all these great things for you. And when I came back, I came back in the winter, so the daylight hours were quite shorter than what I was experiencing. And so I found that was really tough for me at first, just because I went from being in warm tropical weather with the sun shining for 12 hours a day to coming back to snow and cold and dark weather. The moment that really hit me, I was on the highway and I think I was driving home from the airport actually. And I was just seeing all these cars and all this traffic and concrete everywhere, not palm trees. And I think I just started crying. I kind of had a little breakdown because I was oh, wow, why don't we have more trees here? And it was very different going from it's black and white, the environment,
Yeah, the lifestyle change, it's completely different. A while back, you said that being productive doesn't need to mean being busy to the point that you're stressed. That's not necessarily a good sign that you're moving or that you're accomplishing something necessarily. But there's a way to have balance in that you are, you're moving, but you're moving at a pace that is conducive to your well-being as well. And I love that. What would you say to those people who are in that mindset that feel like, yeah, the North American way of things is the best way, productive people?
I guess I would say to that success doesn't equal stress. I think that, especially millennials, there's this stigma around like that we're lazy and that we're always looking at our phones and that we don't work hard enough, that things are sort of handed to us. And I don't think that's true. I think there's definitely people who are unproductive in every single generation. I don't believe that we need to overwork ourselves to the point where we're stressed and, just constantly producing. I think that it's okay to be productive in a way that feels right for you, finding that work-life balance. Part of being successful, I think, is not just, I think the definition of success isn't just constantly producing work. I think that success is what makes you happy. And so if what makes you happy is working all the time, I mean, go for it. But I would say for me and a lot of other people in my circle and people that I know, I think the definition of success is more so, are you happy in life? Are you spending time with the people you love? And do you enjoy what you're doing? Are you in a job that you hate? Do you get out of bed in the morning with a smile on your face? Or are you about like an inch away from a breakdown, right?
Right. I love that. All of that you just said. It was powerful. Yeah, like success is not stress. And there's power in peace. There's power in taking breaks and resting, and I love that you got the 4 months to go away, to enjoy the sun, to, sit back a little bit, still work, but sit back a little bit. Can you tell us a bit about, before you leave, because I think it's really important, the organization that you and your partner founded, or your partner founded, that you helped with while you were down there, and is it still happening now?
Yes. So the organization is called the Marmaduke Foundation. So basically, it started as this altruistic foundation just to spread love and positivity to people. Everyone can use a little love in their life.
Yes.
So really, when we went to Antigua, we kind of had an idea of what we wanted to do. But this trip was more so just to go and assess the community. You can't really learn too much just from researching things on the computer. This was one of those things where you actually had to have your boots on the ground and really meet people in the community and just sort of see things through your own eyes when you're there. So while we were there, we ended up living really close to a local beach. It was about a 5-minute walk from our apartment. And one of the biggest things that stood out to us was the amount of stray dogs there. So I guess you could say our first project focused on providing food and love to these stray dogs. We worked with a really prominent organization there called Dogs and Cats of Antigua, and we helped to get some of these dogs medical care. We had a few of them spayed, and they also received some medication. A lot of them had fleas and mange, which is a skin disease. That was really fulfilling just to see a lot of these dogs end up getting adopted and finding homes. The stray dog problem down there is still a huge issue. It's quite sad to see how some people's attitudes are towards it because they don't really necessarily value the lives of certain animals. However, there are a lot of individuals and groups that actively work to, provide animals with love and support and find them homes. So that was really our first project. And after that, so we moved back to Canada, and I guess the project was put on a little bit of a hiatus, but recently we rebooted a project in Windsor, and that was our Spread the Love project.
Nice.
And this project was essentially aimed at just spreading the love. So what we did for that is we purchased some McDonald's gift cards and handed them out to primarily homeless people who were close to downtown Windsor. So we did that for, I would say, maybe like a month and a half or 2 months. And we documented that, which was really cool to see. And yeah, so we also got, aside from the gift cards, we purchased a pair of shoes for a homeless man.
Wow.
We bought a bike, and yeah, so we're just doing little things here and there. We also do some things online, so it's great that we've rebooted this. Yeah, I guess we're still keeping the foundation going.
That's amazing. I actually love what you guys are doing. Keep going with that. Even just to wrap up this conversation, it's so amazing to see that you guys can pour out in that way. And I think that can come from living a life that you are happy with, living a life where you can step back, living a life where you can rest and do what you love. That produces a better version of you, which produces a better version of the world for other people. When you can take care of you and you can be content, you can pour out from a good place. It's a better way to say that.
Saying, and I completely agree with that.
Yeah, there's a better way to say that, but that was my Caroline version. Kudos to you guys for stepping in areas where, love lacks.